Alright guys, this is going to be a really good one. We've got Man of Faith, also known as Tex, playing as the Lord Commissar. And we've got Broodwich, playing as the Aversa Assassin. OM versus Lord Commissar. I have not seen this matchup. I was going to say I haven't played this matchup. I haven't played any fucking matchup in ages. I haven't seen this matchup in so long. But when I used to play it, it would flip between being super favoured for OM to completely impossible for OM, just constantly. And I have no idea who is favoured or not in the current meta. Now what I do know is that these boys are an absolute fucking nightmare for IG to deal with early on. They just don't take any damage from piercing. I mean, 1020 HP, heavy infantry armor, huge. And they just run at you and slaughter your guardsmen in melee, but you try and kite them like normal melee squads, and it sucks because their bloody storm bolters do so much damage while they're chasing you. And then, when they want to, they can just hide in range stance in green cover and shoot you to death as well. They're just a nightmare. Also, they do loads of damage to the bloody sentinel, as you can see, when they're chasing it or when they get in melee. So it kind of forces the early ground pound, and yeah, it's that's annoying because that delays you tier 1.5. Meanwhile, this Aversa Assassin's really annoying because he can bleed your guardsman models so quickly, like he just did, already killing one of them with his bolt pistol. But as IG get into tier 2, they start pulling out plasma guns all over the place, and really it just becomes very difficult to trade effectively in any sort of ranged engagement against the IG as OM in tier 2. Furthermore, the HP buff that the Justicar gets in the Strike Squad makes them just insane. So, I don't know, the swings and roundabouts from both sides. You've got silencers that can in theory do really good damage against the Chimera, but they don't actually do AoE splash damage, so they're not as good as autocannons against IG. I don't know, we're just going to have to see how this goes. This is going to be a crazy matchup, that's all I can say. So, Broodwich not actually opting for double ISTs at the start, it means that he's super reliant on his strike squad to engage in combat, basically, and tie up the enemy forces, but Tex isn't really falling for it. He knows that they're not really doing anything right now. You know, they didn't even successfully take down the power mode. So he forces them off, only having to purchase one sergeant squad, still caps the VP while doing it, and he's just exerting such map control dominance. And Broodwich is in a little bit of an awkward situation here. Because of his lack of troops, he's having to dedicate 2 units over to this side to try and deal with the Commissar and cap back the map, but Purgation they don't really do very good single target damage, because at the end of the day they are AoE flamers. And this Commissar is easily getting into melee with these IST, and it's just going to bleed them. It's going to bleed them really quickly. Pistol shot kills that one. 2 pistol shots will kill this guy. It's just not a great situation. Look, they're just not doing any damage to him. Yeah. Broodwich, meaning Purgation, not Purifiers, but yeah. They're not very effective against single entity units like the Lord Commissar. This is a real pain in the ass for Broodwich right now. A real fucking pain in the ass. He already lacks units, right? And he's having to dedicate now 3 units to dealing with this bloody unupgraded default Lord Commissar. What a nightmare. He's probably going to kill this Purgation guy. Oh, it's close. He's got to die soon. Pistol shot. Oh my god, how did he live? He's super low, this model. He's trying to get the model kill with a Sentinel. I like this from Tex. He knows exactly what he's doing. See, he's paying attention to that same shit that I'm doing. He's paying attention to every single model. How has a Purgation model not fallen? Okay, finally one falls. Aversa Assassin's running around the side. Got a nice little bit of AoE damage there from the Purgation. Of course, Stomp was already used over here, so he can't use it now in the Strike Squad. And this is where the Strike Squad really goes to town. They don't even have their upgrade as well, the name of which I forget. But it gives them the Banishment ability and just more HP. Sentinel is in a scary spot right now. Should have the Stomp coming back soon, but if it gets surrounded by 6 guys, it's going to get killed very quickly. In fact, it'll probably get immobilized and not be able to move. Should have Stomp now, though. Heavy weapons team over here. Wow, and I just realized, Tex has gone for heavy weapons team, but Broodwich already has an interceptor squad. Did he just go for that blindly, or did he see the heavy weapons team? Not sure. Broodwich, answer in the comments. Did you get the interceptors blindly? Do you like them against IG all the time, or did you get it specifically to counter the heavy weapons team? I don't like the heavy weapons team very much against Order Malleus, because it doesn't really counter interceptors or operatives particularly well. I guess it's quite nice in tier 2 if you get autocannon, but I don't know, I feel like you kind of make your composition very vulnerable to just getting overwhelmed by melee spam. But then I guess Kadashans are questionable because they bleed so much, especially in tier 2. I don't know, I think I'd get Kadashans because they're still good in tier 2, just going down on the off lane, you know, going solo down the side of the map. Pretty hard for anything to deal with them 1v1, even Strike Squad kind of struggle. Broodwich really pushing the vitality of his Purgation squad here to try and get this Gem Bash. Man, that was very close. Okay, finally got the upgrade. What's it called again? Tomes of Titan. Yeah, so you see the little banishment coming out, do some okay damage to the Guardsman squad, but they actually run into the firing arc of the heavy weapons team, so not going to go very well for them. But it's alright. Texas lost 2 generators and the power node, so really decent Gem Bash coming in from Broodwich, and he also has most of the map at this point as well. Has to be careful with his Stormtroopers, does react in time. Might lose 1 model here. No, I'm going to lose 1. So Tex is getting to tier 2 first, but with the lack of gens that he has, Broodwich is going to catch up in tech very quickly. Unless Tex already had a stockpile and he has something on the way already, we'll see. Okay, he's getting the Primaris Psycho Subcommander. It's an interesting choice, really, because we don't see that many. I mean, there's literally just the IST, which are squishy range squads. Everything else is only 3 models, and you'd think that the splash damage of the Psycho wouldn't really do that much against them. But I can't remember the damage type. I think it's Psychic, so I think that just does like full damage to everything. This is really risky from Broodwich, trying to get the Aversa away here. 1 HP, yeah, he goes down unfortunately. He did have the Neurotoxin Pistol as well, so that's kind of a big loss. You see the Power Sword now, the Lord Commissar. I really like the Power Sword purchase. It's just a good force multiplier, especially when you get into tier 2 and you start getting Plasma Guns on your Guardsmen. Being able to buff their damage further becomes pretty ridiculous. I'm going to assume this is going to be a medical bunker eventually, but even just now, it lets the heavy weapons team get inside the bunker, which is great because it counters the potential interceptors. However, the bunker could be shot to pieces by Silencer Purgation. However, the Silencer Purgation are a setup team that's vulnerable to the Psyker, as well as the Commissar running in melee. So we'll see how the Psyker does. Now we know that the Shockwave ability is very good against light infantry, but as I say again, it's not really that much light infantry, only the Stormtrooper squad, which are actually running around on 3 out of 5 models. So clearly Broodwich does not want to be using IST for mainline engagements against IG, which, you know, is a reasonable choice, I suppose. He probably... Oh, what's this? What's this ability? Shit. I don't even know the abilities for this guy. So that's some sort of snare, isn't it? Uses a lot of his energy, to be fair. Okay, the upgrade is here for the interceptors, but the heavy weapons team has a really good arc here. Unfortunately, the problem is when your heavy weapons team is in a building, you can't actually direct where it's going to shoot. As Shockwave comes out, this model walks slightly far to the edge of the firing arc and gets itself suppressed. Sentinel is losing a shitload of HP because the Rhino is out, and it's actually a Razorback. It's got its heavy bolter, it takes out the Sentinel, and now a lot of pressure is coming on. Is this a medical bunker? It is a medical bunker, so the Guardsman can't reinforce out of it. Where's the Psyker? The Psyker had to retreat, obviously, from the Razorback. But this bunker is proving extremely effective. Just using it for the garrison potential with the heavy weapons team. There is nothing that Broodwich can do right now to get this bloody heavy weapons team out of the bunker. But on the same note, there's nothing that Tex can do against the Razorback, so at the moment it's just getting free XP. It's forcing off the Commissar, it's forcing off the Psyker, killing the Sentinel, and just killing free models. Meanwhile, the IST went and actually decapped the natural requisition of Tex. And again, Broodwich has very good control of the map, but in spite of that, He does not have good control of the VPs. That was obviously part of this play with the bunker. In addition to the fact that Tex already had a good VP lead from just having more units in the early game and all the pressure that the Lord Commissar was putting on in this part of the map, Broodwich is now in a position where he really needs to start thinking about VPs. 170 VPs for Broodwich to 440 or so for Tex. Okay, last cannon heavy weapons team's out. It's getting its first shots against the Razorback. One more would kill it. You know, just think, if that was an executed last cannon, that would have just killed the Razorback right there. Isn't that terrifying? Don't you think that's terrifying? Okay, the Psyker is in the bunker. Oh, that's brutal. Look at him, he's actually doing decent damage. Yeah, okay. So he's getting that nice AoE. Purgation are actually doing some good damage to him. Okay, he goes back in the bunker. Yeah, nice damage from this Psyker. Maybe he has a damage modifier against heavy infantry, I'm not sure. Bunkers probably really pissing Broodwich off at the moment. We actually start seeing the first upgrades coming in for the Guardsmen, but to be honest, even with the garrison abuse, Tex just doesn't have enough damage right now. Just cannot deal with these tanky Grey Knight melee squads. And this is what I mean, it's so easy as the Imperial Guard to just get overwhelmed in melee, but one of the things that the Psyker can do with his upgrades is he's got a lot of tools that make your units very effective against melee. So it'll be interesting to see if we actually can get some of those upgrades into this game. But it's going to be tough. Like, those upgrades are mostly only good if you've already got your own melee troops to get melee superiority, and obviously he doesn't have that. Nice play with the Aversa there, getting him inside the bunker, denying the reinforcements in the regen for Texas forces. But the Aversa's actually going to be good in there as well, remember, because he's got that Executioner pistol. Man, plasma guns and the power melee from the Commissar actually doing really decent damage against the Razorback. Where are those IST? Oh, they're in it. They're inside the Razorback. Guardsmen getting precariously low here, but the Razorback is getting chipped at. Is the Aversa still inside it? Yeah, I think he is. Okay. Oh my god. He actually used the last cannon to blow up his own bunker. Jeez, but that does kill the Aversa, so, you know, I guess that's worth it. I guess. I mean, it feels kind of bad, but yeah. Alright, this Razorback is putting a lot of value. It's always a tricky proposition getting a Razorback against IG, because, you know, he got it, and then he pushed forward with it, and the shock value was great. He killed the Sentinel first engagement. But what if he didn't, right? And what if Tex got a missile launcher Sentinel? That could kind of cook the aggressive value of the Razorback. So, yeah, it's a bit of a risky play, but it definitely worked out for Broodwich in this instance. Primaris Psycho just abusing garrisons, basically. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's not like this is what he's meant to be good at. Would a Stormtrooper squad have been a better choice here? You know, he's got a Stormtrooper squad coming out now. Why couldn't he have got an Assault Kit Stormtrooper squad ages ago instead of Primaris Psycho? And then he would have had more power for other choices, like upgrading his Guardsmen. I don't know. I don't know. He has been using Shockwave quite well as Tex. Denying a lot of caps, and you know, it's all about the timing. You make your enemy think they're about to get that decap, which they want really badly because it's so close before they get any model losses, and then you hit them with Shockwave, and you force them to overstay into getting the cap. They obviously don't get it because you knock them off of it, and then you get free models. But all this time, Broodwich has just been harassing Tex from all the sides, getting back on the VPs essentially, and now he's actually tier 3 and getting great on Terminators. And to be honest with you, I have no fucking idea what Tex is going to do to kill these Terminators. They're going to be an absolute nightmare. Now, he does have Stubbornness on his Commissar, which is proving it very effective right now. The Commissar has been eating a lot of fire there from the Razorback and the Strike Squad. And of course, he just heals it back up. Another medical bunker probably coming down, but it's not going to deal with Terminators. These Terminators could get Incinerators as well. Heavy Grey Knight Flamers that are wrist mounted. That will melt anything that goes inside that bunker. Not to mention, of course, it will melt the Guardsmen when they're trying to run away from them, because obviously they don't want to be in melee with some Force Halberd wielding Terminator freaks. I feel like the Aversa Assassin could have done a bit better this game. Not seeing a lot of him. A lot of red here for Broodwich. Is that Flak Jacket? It is indeed. Actually assassinates a Strike Squad model with the execute from the Flak Jacket. But Interceptor's getting in and doing a lot of damage themselves. Okay, we get that snare coming out again from the Primaris Psyker. Forces the Interceptors to retreat. Guardsmen gonna wipe to the Razorback here. They're not within range of the medical bunker. Oh my god, a real misplay from Tex. Is that Orbital gonna go onto the bunker? It is, so that will wipe out the bunker straight away, and he just got... Okay, he's lost the Primaris Psyker. I think he's lost the game. Primaris Psyker getting absolutely wrecked by the Grey Knight Terminators. Bunker getting wrecked by the Orbital Strike. And, yeah, there is absolutely nothing that Tex can do. He does have Ogryns now. They'd be okay against the... yeah. They'd be okay against the heavy infantry squads, but up against the Terminators, absolutely no chance. Not being able to knock them back with Use Your Head, and the fact that he's now also lost the Psyker itself, doesn't leave them in a very good position. Yeah, so players just chatting now at this point, but clearly there is absolutely nothing that Tex can do in this instance. I don't think that this was a very good time to use the Psyker, and I also don't think that the heavy weapons team was particularly good. I think this is kind of a difficult map to play IG against OM. There's certainly far easier maps like Calderis Refinery, which is open and no garrisons. The garrisons were constantly proving a bother for Tex. But then again, he was exploiting them against the OM to prevent himself getting run over by melee. I don't know. I think, honestly, the heavy weapons team needed to be a Kadashan Devil Squad, and then maybe it would have justified the Psyker a bit more, because you could give him the upgrades that help out your melee troops, and then maybe the Kadashans can do a little bit better in tier 2 against the Strikes and the Interceptors, and you would have put on enough bleed that maybe Broodwich wouldn't have been able to get the Terminators so soon. I don't know. Either way, this was kind of a stomp in the end, but a really good comeback from Broodwich, because he was definitely struggling in the early game. But this Razorback, I think, was MVP. Taking out the Sentinel, bleeding like crazy, and just harassing. Keeping Tex on the back foot, stopping him from being able to get onto the other part of the map, and just letting Broodwich sail into tier 3 with absolutely zero concerns. Dropping his Terminators and winning the game. That's all from me today, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Torpid out.